For the conservative take on the United States economy, I'm joined by South Carolina Congresswoman and member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, welcome.
Thank you for having me, as always.
What's your assessment of the state of the U.S. economy?
Well, it's in shambles right now, and the decisions we're making are making inflation worse. Inflation is taxation. And as you said, we hit a 30-year high on inflation at 6.2%. When we had the housing crisis and recession in 2008, inflation was 5.8. And I got to correct Congresswoman Cheri Bustos. Previously, wages are actually down. Real wages are down 2.2% for this year. And groceries, the cost of groceries are going up. I just filled my tank in my 2011 Chevy Tahoe, and it cost almost $100 to do that. Steak is up 25%. Most Americans, hardworking Americans, are on fixed income, and this is going to hit them really hard. And this is before we get to the energy crisis that we're facing this winter.
I mentioned going through some numbers with Herb that the infrastructure package is popular, but there are concerns that the president will overreach and do too much to increase the size and the role of the government in the United States. How do you assess those numbers?
Well, that's absolutely happening. And the taxes that are going to come along with the infrastructure package, of course, everybody wants roads and bridges. But the problem with this package that President Biden is signing into law tomorrow is that there are going to be 42 new taxes in it as part of the way to pay for it. Those prices will be passed down to consumers. And guess what? Only 3% of the spending of that $1.2 trillion is going to real roads and bridges. And we have real massive infrastructure needs in this country. We're seeing the supply chain. We saw 80 ships off the coast of California just last week. They're sitting out there. Why Long Beach is just only now becoming 24/7 is beyond me. Here in Charleston, we're the Port of Charleston through COVID. We've been 24/7 this entire time. Government's got to get out of the way to solve this problem.
On the issue of inflation, what is troubling your constituents the most? Is it the fuel prices? Is it the cost at the grocery store? Is it all the above? And, you know, the White House has used this term transitory for months. Have they been in denial about the extent of the problem?
I think they've been in denial about the extent of the problem. Here in my district, it's all of the above. And the administration, I believe, has not been they've not been factual with the American people. The spending that we're talking about, we did the CARES Act earlier this year. That was $1.9 trillion. We're doing infrastructure tomorrow at $1.2 trillion on top of the COVID spending all last year. Now we're talking about $1.75 trillion for the Build Back Better plan. This spending is going to contribute massively to our inflation woes. And the $1.75 trillion does not account for all the costs of these government programs. As Senator Manchin said a few weeks ago, that Democrats are playing a shell game. This is the cost. This is just the start of the cost of some of these programs for a year, maybe two, but it doesn't include the cost in perpetuity, which is going to be 3, 4, or 5 times the cost, and inflation will get worse.
What about the supply chain issue? You obviously mentioned the critical port there in Charleston, South Carolina. What more can be done to address that? And obviously a huge concern for millions of Americans.
Right. Well, continuing throwing money at all of our problems is not going to fix the problem. We haven't done anything to help the supply chain, whether that's getting more drivers in trucks, whether that's getting more gate turns, getting more folks, getting barges, getting rail, pulling back on regulations that would make the supply chain easier for all of our manufacturers and distributors for goods throughout the country. We're just not doing it. I mean, we might have a hearing or a meeting, but Congress and the presidency, no one's doing anything but throwing money at problems, and it's just going to create more problems.
Looking ahead to next year's midterms, make a case for why you think that Republicans should be in charge again. Obviously, you have concerns about the way things are running on Capitol Hill right now.
Well, we saw that with Glenn Youngkin's race in Virginia. He owned the issues. He owned the policy. He provided solutions for constituents and voters in Virginia. If Republicans come forward with solutions on how we're going to get out of the inflation crisis we're seeing, how we're going to get out of the job crisis we have right now, how we're going to improve the economy, have a healthier economy, have healthy kids, have a great education, and be the best country in the world, we have to have solutions for all the problems that we're facing. And the Republicans, a couple months ago, I said, we'll win a dozen or two. But now I believe we have an opportunity, a real opportunity to win massively in 2022 if we come up with the right solutions for the American people and we communicate it in the same way that Glenn Youngkin did in Virginia. It gives me great hope for next year in the midterms.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace from a beautiful part of the great state of South Carolina. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.